CJ Stroud's back. He's got a lot of pressure. Texans got a big game, and DeMeco Ryans had a lot to say. A lot to say. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah.
Was an interesting week for the Texans. Lot to get into, lots ahead, lots behind, and an interesting layout. Texans control their own destiny. Now, that's a lot to ask if you look at it that way, but if they win this game, things can go a long way, and the picture will be more clear. It is the post-week outlook here in the locker room. We'll get into everything going on with the Texans. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans. Music to my ears. I don't know about everyone's, but it was music to my ears what I heard from DeMeco today when I was at the press conference. I was very pleased with what he had to say because I think enough is enough at some point. At some point, you got to stop being the nice guy and you got to call it what it is. And you don't do that with cliches and bullcrap coach speak. Like sometimes you just got to call it what it is and not let winning just be a cure for everything, especially when you're trying to take the next step and especially when you've made decisions to make the offense better. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the video. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans in a sec. First, though, let's talk about the greatness that is Sleeper, the app. A lot of people use that app. Talked to a lot of people at Spanky's last week that were on that app. If you don't play high or lower, you need to. It makes every game a lot more fun. And you can get a 100% match up to $100. Use the promo code LOCKER. Also, you can get a $20 free entry with no strings attached. All you got to do is download that Sleeper app, use the promo code LOCKER, get a $100 deposit up to $100. This is what I'm going with. I'm going to put together a little Thanksgiving sleeper. I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb over 76.5. Everybody's talking about George Pickens right now. I'm going to go with CeeDee over 76.5. I'm going to go with Jordan Love over 1.5. Detroit looks a little vulnerable right now, so we're going to go with that. And then that Cowboys defense, they suck. Kansas City coming off that win over the Colts. Rice going back to Dallas. He's had some bad memories and some good memories there. So I'm going to say Rice with the over. That is a 5-1 on the DFS. Go to sleeper.com if you want to ride along. I feel pretty decent about this one. A lot of people feeling pretty good about the Texans. Texans getting a lot of love nationally. DeMeco Ryans, though. DeMeco Ryans is pretty pleased. But, of course, the first question he got asked was about CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud will play Sunday. I promise you. He will play Sunday. He will clear concussion protocol on Wednesday, but there's no practice, so the coach isn't really allowed to come out and say that he's going to play. And I thought it was funny, the awkward way in which DeMeco answered this question from Christy Reekin of the Associated Press.
DeMeco, will CJ start this week?
Yeah, so for us right now, CJ and Jaylen are still in the concussion protocol. So whenever CJ is back ready to roll, he's been our starter. He will be our starter whenever he's back ready to go.
I wonder if he looked at that as Davis Mills could be the starter or if he just kind of played the concussion protocol thing right. Because the reality of this is there's kind of some awkwardness with coaches whenever you're talking about the protocol. You're not allowed to say someone's going to be back when they're out of the protocol, even if they're on the back end. Like we see CJ Stroud around the building now. We see him on the sidelines. We've seen him practice. Once he clears the protocol, it's fine. But it is awkward for coaches to say. But I expect Petrie and CJ to be good to go. CJ will play this week, so that's you can take that to the bank unless something fluky happens in practice. He is going to play. Now the question is, what will he look like? Like, how will CJ Stroud look? Is he gonna have Is he going to be rusty? Is there going to be something that he's taken from Davis Mills? Is Nick Caley going to step his game up? Like the current pressure with CJ Stroud is it's the same as it's always been. Like CJ Stroud has never not really had pressure on him. He's had it since he came into the league. He's had it since he was at Ohio State. He's had a lot of pressure. Now, the pressure of building on what they did their first 2 years, that's there, but that's been there for a while. So like the notion that there's more pressure, if he struggles, then there'll probably be a little bit more noise, but that would have been the case anyways. And he might be more equipped to handle the pressure mentally. Now, I don't know how he's going to approach running. I don't know how he's going to, if he's got some yips or something. But we saw that there were what looked like trust issues with the offensive line with CJ for a little bit. There's a little bit of hesitation to run, but as far as the mindset and stuff, sometimes stepping away can kind of recharge you. I mean, there's a reason sometimes people take vacations or whatever. Like it's sometimes when you go back to work, it kind of recharges you. And we've seen CJ Stroud. We saw him last year kind of drained a little bit in the middle of the season. I don't know that he was getting to that point this year, but I think that maybe if you're hoping that CJ Stroud is going to come back and he's going to be great, then maybe there's just some hope that him stepping away will have him recharged and ready to go. And hopefully this offense looks better than it did when he was in there. Now I've heard like what about San Francisco or the way he started against Denver? That wasn't anything crazy. You kicked 4 field goals and scored 2 touchdowns against San Francisco. You still need to be better than that. It was still one of the worst defenses or offenses in the league. So it's got to be better than that, and it's got to be consistent. You can't have games where you have 60 yards in the second half like they did the other day. And the good thing that I like is DeMeco Ryans admitted that he's frustrated with this offense. There was no sugarcoating. There was no BS. He made it very clear, and this is about as emphatic as he's been, that there's problems with Nick Caley's offense, especially what they put out there in the second half on Thursday.
Will CJ start this week?
We still got to do a better job moving the ball in the second half. I don't think our second half offense was good enough. And, so we have to continue to strive, continue to get better at executing the plays, calling it better. We got to do a much better job, coaches, players, everybody. We got to be able to move the ball way more than we did in the second half. We're going to finish games the right way.
And it's got to be frustrating as a defensive coach, as someone who's made the changes he has, that happened. I mean, I think there was a lot of frustration with fans. That is something. This isn't year one. This isn't year two. This is a year where after you, I guess you can say, went toe to toe with the class of the AFC in the playoffs, you decided to make a change. And when that change isn't significantly better, and quite frankly, there's reason to believe that it's worse, that's frustrating. This is put up or shut up time for the Texans. If you lose this Colts game, things get really interesting. It's very well laid out what they need to do. They need to get to 10 wins. The goal right now, we talked about 5-5. They got there, and now they're at 6. They got to get to 10 wins. You get to 10 wins, the chances are better than not that you're going to make the playoffs. Last year, 15 teams had 10 wins in the NFL. 14 of those teams made the playoffs. The only one who didn't was Seattle. So if you win 10 games, that is what you strive to get done. 10 wins. Now, the unfortunate thing for the Texans this past weekend is the wild card. It's more crowded now than it was before. Colts didn't help you. The Jags/Cardinals didn't help you. So it's a crowded wild card picture. Now, because the Colts lost, if you beat the Colts, you can be a game back. That's the good news. Bad news is the Jags got one of the easier schedules on the back end. They haven't played the Titans yet. And they also got the Jets. So that race with the Jags it's not just about the Colts. If the Texans win out, they'll be fine. That's a big if, and I don't think anyone's buying that. But the Jags got it very well laid out right now, and the wild card thing is just really, 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 really crowded. This is also the best Colts team that DeMeco's faced. It's the best AFC South opponent that DeMeco's faced, and he's very, very aware of what the Colts can do. And he has a lot of respect for, we talk about a lot about Jonathan Taylor. He has a lot of respect for what the Colts can do through play action and then through passing the ball. And I think that's the thing that they're going to have to look out for. I think they can take anyone they want out of a game, but I think those Colts weapons, the middle of that Texans defense, I think that's where we need to focus. I think DeMeco agrees.
But we know that's not the only emphasis with this offense. They do a good job of their play action pass game, like really timing it up at the proper time, really catching a lot of defenses off guard, and they're creating a lot of explosives there as well. So you got to play true. So I'm telling our DF, you have to play true. You have to play with elite eye discipline, elite awareness to what your job is and being on it. Because if not, Shane has always done a good job, offensively of creating, eye candy, as I call it, to mess with guys' eyes, to put their guys in position to make plays.
All right, so he's talking eye candy. Eye candy is what DeMeco talks about a lot. Use your eyes, yada, yada, yada. Texans have done a good job of that. But the Colts are good through the air, better than you would think.
For the Colts, you can see they've been a very explosive offense. Like what's powered them this year. I think Daniel Jones is playing the most productive that he's played in his career. So Shane has done a good job of putting him in positions, putting guys around him to really make the plays he needs to make. So you have explosive receivers on the outside. The rookie tight end is doing a good job as well.
Yeah, the rookie tight end, Tyler Warren, who I think is someone to really keep an eye on. When we put the sleeper out this week for this game, once they get all the guys up there, Tyler Warren, I'm taking the over on the yards. I think he is a problem for however the Texans decide to stop him, especially if the linebackers are focused on Jonathan Taylor. I think Tyler Warren poses a major problem for the Texans. I think he poses a major problem for most of the league. The tight ends that the Texans face down the stretch, and I think Stutes, who you can see with me here with me on SNL Monday through Friday at 4. I think he's done a good job of laying it out. But the issue that the tight ends could present and the matchups that the Texans have starting with this guy, it could very well be a problem. I asked DeMeco about Tyler Warren, and here's what he said.
What do you see Tyler Warren, what he's added to their offense?
Tyler Warren, he's a playmaker, man. That's wherever you get this kid the ball, like he's explosive, a little faster than you think, tougher than you think. Like he showed that at Penn State. Like he was a one-man wrecking crew. Like he did a really nice job at Penn State, and it's carried over here to the league. He's still doing a nice job, and you can see they're trying to put him in spots to get him the football because he is that type of guy. He's a playmaker, a guy seems like you can trust, you can count on him. Like he continues to show up play after play, down after down for those guys.
Yep. He's the one that we need to watch here. He's the one that you need to watch. And it's going to be a big test for DeMeco. Really, really big test for him and what exactly he can do and what exactly the Texans are going to do. It's going to be a fun one. And Texans Colts is always great. This one, the picture will be very clear when we look at it a week from today. We'll have a real clear picture. 10 wins is what I say. It doesn't guarantee you, but 10 wins is what you need. You need to go, worst case scenario, you need to go 4-2 for the remainder of the season. 4-2. You got 2 against Indy. You got 1 against KC. You got the Chargers. And then you got the Raiders and you got the Cardinals. So you need to go 4-2. Just at bare minimum, that's what you got to do. And this would be a really, really good one for you to get. Really, really good one for you to get, because then all of a sudden you start increasing your routes to the playoffs. If you lose this one, there's only one route. It's wild card. Multiple routes where right now the Colts, their safety net is the wild card. So they're in the driver's seat in the division, and their safety net is a wild card. The Texans, right, if they lose this game to the Colts, you're not winning the division. It's just not happening. It's still going to be an uphill battle, even if you do, but you can at least hopefully have some stuff go on in your favor in the wild card to where you set yourself up nicely. And then the 4-2, it turns into 3-2 that you need to go. So it turns into 3-2, and you can look at the schedule and look at it accordingly. So 10-2, we've done a pretty good job on this channel in this community of like making tangible goals and layouts. There's still the fluid process, but I always try to lay out like the tangible goals for the Texans when stuff happens. Like when you start out 0-3, okay, well, to have a puncher's chance, you got to get up to 5-5. So we ride along on that journey and we talk about 5-5. Okay, can they get to 5-5? Oh, can they get greedy and get to 6-4? Can they get how greedy can they get? And at this point, you need 10. It doesn't guarantee you in, just like 5-5 doesn't guarantee you anything. But at this point, the new 5-5 is 10 wins. That's what you need. That's what you need. And you would also like to have multiple paths. Anytime you're going somewhere, it's nice to have a multiple route. You don't want to be stuck in traffic without some sort of different route to getting where you want to get. The destination right now is the playoffs. I know that's not like the main goal. I think if that is all that happens, I do think they need to assess this organization.
Playoffs?
Because the playoffs wasn't good enough last year. But at this point, you got to get in just to have any chance to reach those goals. That's the first thing that you got to do is you got to get in the playoffs. So the destination is the playoffs. Right now, you have two potential routes. You got the wild card, and you got a long shot at the division. The long shot at the division is a wrap if you lose this weekend to the Colts. Playoffs could still be alive. It would take a hell of a lot. You might not be in control of your own destiny, but it would still be alive. And that's where they're at. But the reality is, and DeMeco knows it, it's not just me. It's not just like DeMeco knows that if that's going to happen, they're going to have to play better on offense. You're going to start playing better teams. You're going to start playing teams that know how to win. Buffalo is a weird squad right now. They're soft up front. They seem kind of shell-shocked. They got players missing meetings. It's still a really good team, and that's still a hell of a win. But you can't play like you did against the Bills and beat the Colts. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's just not. Buffalo allowed the Texans to have 60 yards on offense in the second half, to play ass special teams, and they still allowed them to win. And that speaks to a couple of things. That speaks to how good this defense is, and this defense will keep you in any game. But it also speaks to getting a little bit lucky that you were able to avoid that. You're not going to have 60 yards in one half of offense and win too many games. It's just not going to happen. So they're going to have to be better. Fortunately, they got their quarterback back, and we can see what CJ Stroud looks like. And hopefully there's some times where CJ Stroud is able to, I hate to say this, because this is really what they were trying to get out of. They were trying to get out of the quarterback saves all butts mindset, but that might be what CJ Stroud needs to do, because this Nick Caley fella sucks right now. He's not good. He's not good. He's just not. I mean, and that yesterday I was on KHOU, and Seth said, how can you definitively say that Nick Caley's worse than Bobby Slowick, blah, blah, blah. And he said like they were 21st and 19th this year in scoring defense. They didn't get rid of Bobby Slowick to have like he might not be definitively worse. I think if you're not maximizing CJ Stroud's potential, but you're maximizing Davis Mills' potential, then it's worse for this organization. Can it get better? I guess. Do I see any signs of Nick Caley getting better? Not really. But I could see CJ Stroud going out there and bailing him out. We see it in different forms all around leagues every week in football. So maybe that's the situation, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes with Nick Caley. But DeMeco Ryans, I agree with you, my friend. They got to be better. You know what doesn't need to be better? My yard. Because I got Texans Turf. Dan is the man. I shopped around. I wanted the turf. Frustrating process, not fun. Until I found Dan. He didn't try to rip me off. He didn't try to give me some BS bare minimum. The job, no job was too big. He's done some of the biggest jobs in town. Recreationally, residentially, he's done some of the biggest jobs in town, and no job is too big, and they always treat whatever job they're doing like it's the most important thing. The drainage, perfect. It just rained. It was dry right after it rained in my backyard. It looks lovely. Getting cold enough to where we can get the fire pit going and all that. Putting areas, play areas, your neighbors, they'll be jealous. Your home value will increase, and you will not regret it. Go to TexansTurf.com. Do what I did and let Dan do for you what he's done for me and what he's done for many, many people. Many people. So there is where things are with DeMeco Ryans when it comes to the outlook on the offense. He's not happy. Everyone's talking about Jonathan Taylor. I know Jonathan Taylor's had moments against DeMeco Ryans. I know Jonathan Taylor's in the conversation for Offensive Player of the Year. I don't worry about Jonathan Taylor just completely pummeling the Texans defense. I just don't think that's where it's going to happen. I think the impact can be felt in other areas, but I just don't feel like Jonathan Taylor is going to completely unload the Texans defense. Now, I do find it curious as to whether or not the Texans can run the ball. There's no DeForest Buckner. It's still a pretty good Colts defense, but there seems to be an insistence that the Texans need to run the ball. Square peg, round hole, who knows? But here's DeMeco Ryans. Cody Stutes asked him a question about running the ball. Here's what he said.
What went well with the rushing attack early on in the game against Buffalo? What are some of those things that you can maybe carry into future games with that offensive line that you had out there?
Yeah, for our offensive line, the rushing game, we have to just stay connected on our blocks. I think when we have double teams and we're coming off at the second level, if we stay connected and we finish our blocks with the right mindset, and we have good running lanes. I thought Woody ran the ball well, especially like on our fourth down play when he's one-on-one right in the hole with the defender, like for him to play behind his pads, really keep his feet moving. Like that's how you have to run the football. So we continue to block it well. We continue to make good decisions with our running backs, running the ball well, and we can run the ball effectively.
I don't know if they can or not. I mean, some of those runs that Woody Marks was making happen, they seemed like they were despite the blocking and despite the play calling. So I don't know if running the ball is in their best interest. I do like the weapons that seem to be emerging. I think there's potential. I think CJ Stroud's chemistry with Jalen Noel, if he can inherit maybe watching Davis Mills and getting on the same page with Higgins and then kind of building on the previous chemistry that he had with Noel, then I think that could be kind of scary. We already know that there have been times, more times than not, where CJ and Nico Collins have been on the same page, although not necessarily this season. This season was a really kind of a slow start for that duo. But if the Texans can get CJ Stroud trusting Jaden Higgins and getting on the same page with Jaden Higgins like Davis Mills did, then I think that's a scary thought. And then you sprinkle in the Nico and maybe the Noel thing kind of increases, then maybe the sky's kind of the limit there. We already know that he likes to throw to Schultz too. Christian Kirk's just kind of there. He's kind of like the Randall Cobb, the 2020 Randall Cobb of 2025. Like the numbers are actually kind of alarming when you actually look at them. I actually tweeted them. But that's really the hope. But as far as running the ball, becoming a running team, I'm not really buying that. I don't believe that that's what they can do. I think Buffalo is really, really bad at stopping the run, but they're as bad as it possibly gets. So I don't think that that's really an element that is something that you take from what you did early on against Buffalo and what you can do moving forward. Quite frankly, I think the fact that you stop being able to do it kind of speaks to how effectively you can run the ball. Because everybody runs the ball on Buffalo. Texans just couldn't do anything on offense. So it goes back kind of to the defense. Another element of this game that I'm kind of intrigued by, Jaylen Reed and Tyler Warren. they were at Penn State together like throughout their whole careers. I would imagine they had some serious practice battles. And I liked what I saw from Jaylen Reed. I do wonder what it looks like once he gets challenged. It's inevitable you're going to go through some sort of growing pains as a rookie. How bad could they be? Who knows? But what did DeMeco see from Jaylen Reed, and what did he like about it?
He played swarm football, right? He was see ball, get ball. He's flying around, making plays. Of course, some things to clean up, but I'm encouraged with what he did, being that it was a short week. He didn't get a ton of preparation didn't get any live reps. So for him to go in, right, and do as good of a job as he did in that game, I'm excited for him to just continue to progress and continue growing. Coach Stevens done a really nice job working with Jaylen while he's been out. So the more he gets, I expect him to be even better for us.
Yeah, I mean, the inevitable growing pains. It's going to be tough. He does have some familiarity with Tyler Warren. Don't know whether or not that matters or not, but yeah, we'll see what that looks like. Shout out to TDECU, the proud sponsor of Reaction Monday, and a place where you can go get that fresh Texans debit card just in time for Christmas. TDECU.org/Texans. Get you that fresh new logo. 15% off Texans gear with the TDECU debit card. They also got the Buc-ee's card. They got the Cougs card. They got a lot, and they'll help you out. They'll guide you. Membership is required, insured by NCUA, but the TDECU Texans debit card, one of a kind. Shout out to TDECU for everything that they do. Let's go through some of the comments today. The ones when it comes to the Texans. Bacardi says we can beat Indy. They can beat Indy. They can lose to Indy. There's no doubt. It's a good football game right now. I think Indy is a 4+ point favorite. Started out as 3.5. It's up to 4+. Be interesting to see what direction that goes. I think that's probably the area that we're thinking, probably in the 3 and 4. But yeah, it's not like some unwinnable ball game. It's a tough ball game. It's the toughest division ball game they've had with DeMeco Ryans, but the defense is playing really, really well. Oscar, this is a weird question. Who's sexier, Alpha Aaron or John McClain? I don't really know. I'm not really in the.
Hey, bro, Alpha Aaron here.
I'm not really in the demo to answer that one. Freedom Fighter, I don't know what the hell you've been talking about. He's been saying some crazy stuff. Shout out to you. He says, if there isn't any funny business, we beat Indianapolis easy. Shout out to Freedom Fighter. Easy? What does easy mean? Like double digits? Oh, no. That seems a little bit crazy. Jake says, Joe Mixon said he's not out for the season. He didn't say he wasn't. He just argued that what Rap said. He never really came out and really said much. It was kind of weird. He's out for the season, though. For sure. Who was that, and what happened to DeMeco? I don't know. DeMeco coming out and calling out the offense was kind of music to my ears. I thought that was nice. That's a nice message. That's the complete opposite of the Kenyon Green's playing good when he's not, and Laken Tomlinson's good, and Bobby Slowick's calling good offense, and Nick Caley's calling good offense. I don't know what that was. I enjoyed it, though. Let's get some good stuff from DeMeco Ryans. It was kind of music to my ear. Thank God he said it. P. Nasty said, yes. Come out and say it. That's what you got to say. Space Age says, I don't trust 10 wins. 10 wins is what you need to strive for. Like if you're going to get greedy and talk 5-1 and all that, I just don't think you're being realistic. You got to crawl before you walk. 10 wins is, again, 14 of 15 teams last year had at least 10 wins, and all but one got in the playoffs. 14 to 15 teams that had 10 wins or more last year got in the playoffs. So that's the starting point. That's what you got to get. You could have said you didn't trust 5-5 and they needed to win one of those ball games. That might make more sense. But this is where they're at. 10 wins, 4-2. Get in and then get dangerous. We 2009 Jets. We've been mentioning here for a while. They're being mentioned now, kind of with the Texans, and then 2017 Jags have been mentioned. They won the division. This is a better division than that. This is as deep as the AFC South has been in a long time. I mean, you got 3 teams with playoff hopes right now at this point in the season. That really hasn't been the case. I guess you could say 2 years ago it was kind of the case, but none of those teams really felt like good ball clubs. But the Colts are a good ball club. The Jags are a meh ball club, and the Texans are a meh ball club right now. But this is a good AFC South, no doubt. Millie O HTX says it's going to be Daniel Jones slinging the rock. Taylor's been neutralized the past 2 games. That would probably be a good thing for the Texans. Now, hopefully it's a little bit more clear, but it's not a disguise Daniel Jones throwing the rock, working off of Jonathan Taylor. But I mean, if you can contain Josh Allen, you can definitely contain Daniel Jones. That's a fact about that. Jorge says 10 wins is our bread and butter. Yeah, I mean, 10 wins has been the record the last 2 years. It's gotten you in the playoffs. It's kind of what they need to do. It might be better to have to go on the road, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for 10 dubs. 10 dubs, 2 paths. 10 dubs, 2 paths. So you want to beat the Colts. You want to be a game out and have that possibility open. You'll have to play the Chiefs after that in Kansas City. Who knows what happens with the Chiefs and Cows? And then after that, maybe get a little bit of breathing room before you face Indianapolis with the Chargers, who the Texans should be able to just F up the Chargers world with how thin their offensive line is. I mean, there's kind of no excuse to not. We saw last year DeMeco Ryans make Josh Allen look the way that he did, and then he did it again this year. Justin Herbert threw more interceptions in that playoff game than he had all season. And the offensive line's even worse. So I know the Chargers are a pretty good team. It's actually kind of impressive that they haven't completely plummeted with how bad their offensive line is. Like Austin Deculus is someone they actually miss. And he was like one of their guys they brought in starters. Like they've missed multiple Pro Bowl caliber guys on the edge on the offensive line. And it's a dumpster fire for the Chargers right now. So they're hanging by a thread. If they get into the playoffs, I think that says a lot. But as far as the matchup with the Texans, the Texans should be able to F the Chargers world up. That's the thing that really, really is. So you have 3 games that you probably feel pretty good about. And then you got the Colts and you got the Chiefs. Colts twice. Tequila Whiskey says the Colts offense is less complicated to stop compared to ones we faced. Indy will have a hard time moving the ball. I would disagree with that. I don't know what you mean by less complicated. I think they do a lot of creative things at different times. So I have no idea what that means. By less complicated. Don't really. I mean, they got some weapons. They got a good coach. He's not great, but yeah, I wouldn't. Less complicated than who? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all. So we'll hear from DeMeco again on Wednesday. We'll hear from Nick Caley. I think Nick Caley's going to speak on Wednesday. I'm not sure. I know Thursday they're off for Thanksgiving. So maybe we hear from Nick Caley. Don't know. I don't know what he's really going to have to say for himself. I know he probably still trusts his process. We got to do better. Blah, blah, blah. But I appreciate DeMeco for speaking the way he did about that offense, because you can't win with that type of a performance, and I'm glad that he understands that. I mean, you made him fire his boy for this. Yep. CJ stuff will become official on Wednesday too, so he'll clear protocol. We'll probably get that maybe at the presser, maybe on the injury report. Don't know. I like the order of it. Don't know. I'm assuming that we'll get it after practice, but I don't know how long it takes. He's good. He's good to go. And he will play. So don't worry about that. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. The race to 10 dubs is upon us. 10 wins. It was 5-5. It's 10 wins. And in 7 days, the picture will be crystal clear. Crystal clear. You'll know if you have to get in with as a wild card team. You'll know if you have multiple paths, and it will look really good. If this 4-2, if what we're talking about with the 4-2 to get to 10 wins, if that turns into 3-2 with what we just laid out with the schedule, and you have multiple paths, my goodness, this is a big game. It's going to be a fun one. It could go either way. As much as we're gassing up, or I should say I'm gassing up, Tyler Warren and their weapons, trust me, they're not sleeping very comfortably knowing that they have to go against this Texans defense. I can assure you of that. And they would much rather be facing Davis Mills than CJ Stroud, regardless of what did or did not happen the last 3 weeks. So the Texans, for as bad as things have started, they're in good position. It's still urgent. It's still not completely smooth sailing by any stretch of the imagination. That's not going to happen all season long, but this Indy game is going to be huge. It's going to be fun to cover. And let's just be honest, this is a fun week for everybody, family, all that type of stuff. Not trying to get too corny, but it is going to be really, really, really fun to watch and see what happens with this Texans Colts game. We'll get more into it a little later on throughout the week. We'll talk about Will Anderson tomorrow. Mystery solved when it comes to DeMeco Ryans, and we got you covered. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the video. We're all in it together. Let's go. Thank you, DeMeco.
Yeah, we top 2. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways.